Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Monday! Happy Monday! Did everybody have a great weekend? I hope so. If it wasn't great, then I wish for you a great weekend next weekend, right? Next weekend's Oscar weekend. So, lots of things happening. Oh, how funny. Oh, my goodness. They're all just pouring out right now. It's Hodgepodge Monday. I do have the affirmator cards today, so we'll read one of those and discuss it. And talk about certain whatever subject comes up for it, right? So, for anyone that's new, I do pull some cards in the morning, just to wait while everybody comes on and gets ready for the Aloha vibe, right? So, let's see. Let's see if we have any more. If not, I'll just pull from the top. So, oh, there's some. All right, let's just pull from the top. Okay. Let's see. First one, spring. How delightful, because yesterday was the first day of spring, which is why I'm wearing spring colors today. So, yeah, spring. So, I don't know. I've gotten this card before. If you were waiting for something to happen, it's probably going to start blossoming and blooming now and coming to fruition, right? Because that's the excitement of it all. But let's see. Ooh, a flower. Stand tall, my dear, and shine like a beautiful ray of sunshine. Stand tall, my dear, and shine like a beautiful ray of... And shine like a beautiful ray of sunshine. So there you go. Stand tall. That's funny, too. Look. Both cards, right? So it's time to grow and stand tall and be exactly who you were meant to be. Make yourself proud. Repeat until you believe it. I am proud of myself. I am proud of myself. Today is my bestie's birthday. I've known him since 9th grade. I know, right? 9th grade. So basically we've grown old together. I know. But I had to say it. It just sounded kind of funny. But yeah, I was talking with him this morning on text, and he reminded me of a lot of things about how, well, you know, I'll go into it when we get into the actual talk, but it feels like these cards are really kind of hitting home. I love it. I text him about his birthday, and we get into this deep conversation about my life. But seriously, he's always kind of been the guru on the mountain top for me in my life. So very, very helpful. But yeah, make yourself proud and repeat until you believe it. I am proud of myself. I am proud of myself. And the last one, is there a lesson you need to learn? Go deep inside to find the answers. Is there a lesson you need to learn? Go deep inside to find the answers. Now, the last time we had this card, I was talking about shadow work, but sometimes we're going to finish the shadow work, right? And we're going to sit there and we're going to be like, okay, now what? But you know, things are going to come up, and it's not always going to be shadow work. If you feel like you've completed your shadow work, but something else comes up, and you're just like, now what? Just think of it as, you know, just these life lessons that you might be learning. I feel like or myself in particular, is in a new era of my life, you know, like a new chapter, a new phase. And I'm struggling to learn, or I'm struggling through it. Because there's a lot of things I just feel like I'm relearning now, and a lot of things I feel like I should know, but feel behind the 8 ball on because I don't have a grasp on it yet. And it's nothing bad. They're just simple things. And, you know, they're these things where I think you get to the point where you start to overthink it, and you actually have a grasp on it, but you don't believe you do because you can't feel it, or maybe you're numb to it. And this is kind of what I've been grappling with for the last week. But again, we'll get to that in a bit. Be you, not someone else. Own your style. Own who you are. Own who you are. All right. A lot of times when we have to go deep inside to find out things, that might just be what it's trying to tell you, just to be who you are. You know, I love it how the sticker says Crocs and socks, and I actually use this, but apparently Crocs are making a comeback. So, you know, okay. And one last card. Let's see. Take a deep breath, or 3, and then straighten your crown. Take a deep breath, or 3, and then straighten your crown. So, I like this card. Pineapples are interesting, right? They're not that great on the outside. Oh, I think they're pretty. They can be pretty amazing. Good morning, baby sibling. But what I like about this is that, what do we know about pineapples? They're not all that fabulous looking on the outside. I mean, I think they're very unique, and they're kind of fun to look at. But when you get inside of it, there's like it's sweet, it's juicy, it's something that you want, to on your plate. So it's kind of a don't judge a book by its cover type of deal. But take a deep breath or three and then straighten your crown. Okay? So, Hodgepodge Monday. Yeah, like I said, there's been things I've been struggling with, and I've kind of kept them to myself because I haven't really wanted to talk to anyone about it. But I feel like I need to get it out because I don't think I'm necessarily alone sometimes when I have these feelings. Like I mentioned, I am in a whole new era of living now. I've hit a new chapter in my life that feels so different from the first part, right? And the struggle is that it's understanding this whole feeling thing. I mean, it's like I've mentioned before. Before, I used to just walk around with this anchor of dread that always seemed to follow me. Like no matter how happy I got, there was just always that underlying feeling, and it's not there anymore. And so I'm not sure if I'm numb. I'm not sure if I'm just learning a whole new feeling process, or if there's just the state of contentment that we sit in until we have these bigger emotions that, like these super happy emotions or these super blah emotions, sad emotions. But I thought for a while I might be stuck. And then I was talking to the bestie this morning because, like I mentioned, it's his birthday. And the wise guru on the mountain, as I should start to call him, I should make him a shirt for that, kind of reminded me that, sometimes you just have to live your life without worrying about what everybody else is doing. And by that I mean, there are times when I try so hard to make everybody else happy around me, to make sure I'm there for everybody else around me. And then sometimes I just feel so alone, and it's not anyone's fault. People are busy. And I think sometimes in life, we do, and then we hope that we get something similar back in return. And when we don't, it feels kind of lame, and it makes you blue. But I need to stop depending on other people to be there for me. And I think that's where I've kind of fallen short, is that I'm always hoping someone will help me navigate these feelings, these emotions I'm having, and to help me understand them. But what I realize is that I'm kind of in this by myself. And that's just kind of how it is. And maybe that's a pessimistic point of view of it. I am trying to be optimistic. Even he was like, aren't you the one always preaching positivity? And he's right. But by worrying about everybody else, and by being there for everybody else, I've kind of forgotten to take care of myself. And so this isn't a reflection on anybody else. This is a reflection on us personally. When we feel like we do, and then we get upset because, you feel like you're just flying in the wind and everyone's ignoring you or doesn't have time for you. And so that's when you need to gather yourself. Get a journal out, go for a drive, go take yourself out for coffee. You don't need the world to hold your hand. And I don't mean this to start off as that harsh on a Monday. I know it's Monday and you're like, Shelly Marie, why are you coming at us with all this bullshit? And the reason I'm saying that is because it is Monday. It's a new week. And, we head back out into life. We head back out into work. Well, most people do. And a lot of times, like I said, we'll put out so much of ourselves. And, I don't do things to get anything back. But sometimes I do need people. And I just have no one to reach out to. And I do want to reach out to older siblings sometimes, but older sibling is a fixer. And so it's hard to reach out to her sometimes because, bless her heart, she wants to fix it. She wants to make it better. But I can't always make it better. I have to work through it. And that's my thing, is I have to work through it. And so, there is one special shout out I wanted to give. I had a wonderful conversation, a very short text message conversation with Eileen, who's not on, but does pop on from time to time on Saturday. And I have to say I'm very, very grateful, because there is a grace that I have not been able to give myself. And without even realizing it, she gave me that. Because there's, without being in a job or having income coming in, there's a lot of things I cannot do right now. Because hello, things require money, right? So there's a lot of things I cannot do. There are some things I can do because, hey, not everything in the world costs something. But it isn't about a pity party. It's just simply about the fact that I've been ashamed to tell people that. I've been trying to skirt people when they say, hey, you want to go do this? You want to go do that? And, we had a very, very short but deep talk. And I truly, truly appreciated that, because I think I really needed that. I needed to hear that, I'm not the only person that's gone through this. I'm not the only person going through this. And I'm not the only person who will go through this down the road when my wheel comes back around and turns back into something more fortunate and that I'm grateful for. Now, I have a roof over my head, water, electricity, my phone. It's about, I know I'm kind of all over the place, and I don't mean to be all over the place, but as Troy reminded me this morning, when it comes to birthdays, I remember we talked about this several years ago when he took me out for lunch for my birthday, and he just looked at me and he's all, you can't expect other people to buy the cake. Buy the cake yourself. My birthday cake. And so we were talking about that because, COVID's kind of messed up everybody's plans for the last couple of years, right? But, but I do. I either older sibling buys me my birthday cake or I buy my birthday cake. And so that's been a joyful part. But then I talked about how, God, I haven't really done anything in the last few years for my birthday. And I see all these people doing all kinds of exciting things. And part of it's been because of me. And part of it's been because I've just been in such a downward spiral and such a horrible spiral that even this weekend, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned it last week before or two, that even though there's not an impulse to act on it, the suicidal thoughts have been quite plentiful in my head the last few months. And I don't mean like where they come and go. I mean, it's been pretty consistent. And I talked about it last week, how I was grateful I made that promise to older sibling, baby sibling. And because I don't do well keeping promises to myself. But one of the reasons I'm opening up and sharing a lot of this, like I said, it's not for a pity party. It's because I want to remind people that we are in charge of our happiness. We are in charge of our healing. If somebody isn't there to help you, then help yourself. If people are too busy for you, then help yourself. And you can't blame them. Life happens, right? Just because you don't have as much going on in your life that you can make time for people doesn't mean they have the time or space for you. And yeah, it sounds terrible and it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And instead of getting angry over it, which can just add to the emotions and add to that pain or that anger or whatever, find different ways to express it. Write it in a journal. Keep a notebook if you want. And if you're going through shadow work, right? Get a regular notebook and use it as what they call a burn book. And, in a safe container, okay? In a safe container. And then just burn it when you're done. Let it go. Let it go out into the world. I'll be honest, I have 2 notebooks here, the Floof 1 and Floof 2 journal, and I'm debating on whether to burn it or not. And part of it is because I want to remind myself how far I've come. And, I don't think there's much more healing to go. if there's any at all. I think there's just this balancing act now, this finding that equilibrium, right? That in my life that says, okay, this is how we deal with it. But, he reminded me that, do the positive things. He's like, you try to preach positivity all the time. And yet, I'll be honest, I'm one of the worst people to not listen to myself. I'm terrible at taking my own advice. I truly believe I give decent direction and decent advice, because these are the things I wish I could do for myself. These are the things I want to be able to do for myself. These are the things that I hope I will be able to do for myself. And, I think sometimes, we have that fear because maybe we don't feel like we're worth it. And I try to remind myself every day I am worth it. I forgot to write it on me after I showered last night, because I was so tired. But we are worth it. Every single person is worth it. If you're listening now or watching now, you are worth it. And we have to remind ourselves that we can't keep putting our happiness in other people's hands, because that's not how life works. Happiness that comes from other people that is directed towards us, that's the bonus, that's the beauty and the excitement and the gift. But we have to learn how to generate our own happiness. We have to learn how to fill our own cup so that we can pour from a full cup. And hopefully hopefully you have so much happiness and joy that it spills over into the saucer, right? I know we all hate that when it happens in real life. But in this beautiful metaphor, that's what I hope for everybody. I hope that your cup is so full that it's like a fountain and it just keeps staying full. But there are going to be those moments, just like a fountain, where it's not running. And that's when you have to find a way, go deep, and find what brings you joy. I mean, what's one of the things I came up with? I don't even know if I came up with it, but I came up with it in my head. So if somebody else has it out there, I apologize. But you have to find what sparks the pilot light of your soul. Whether it's a place, a thing, a person, a relationship, maybe your family, your friends, or maybe it's all of those things across the board. When you feel deficient in one area, look to another to bring joy to that space, to bring love to that space. I have spent so much time putting my happiness in other people's hands that I have let myself down. And I'm not saying everybody's like this, but this is how I feel right now. And I always said on the perspective, and even when it was the vibe, that I'm going to be honest, because my whole goal in all of this is for people to know that they're not alone in feeling these things. They're not alone in, in these emotions that they have or lack thereof. I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out. A friend of mine asked me how I was doing the other day, and I told her I'm fine. And she gave me the little abbreviation of what somebody told her fine, F-I-N-E, meant fucked up, insecure, neurotic, emotional. And I told her I'm none of those. Believe it or not, I am literally just fine. But trying to find someone normal to ask what fine feels like, what an actual fine feels like, that's not part of Addicted Mental Health, is so hard. I reached out this morning and they're all, oh yeah, well, that's what my therapist told me. It's like, well, shit. Okay. I need to find somebody that's just even keeled, that is just, when they're fine, it's like, do you feel anything? Are you just content? Are happy and sad just things that happen? And I think that was just it. I always had that anchor of dread, right? So now I feel like I'm just supposed to always have that, balloon of happiness. Or whatever it is. I don't know. I just came up with balloon of happiness. So apparently that is new in my repertoire of things to say. Okay, we had the island of overthinking, the sea of misery, the ocean of bliss, the wall of waves, the anchor of dread, and now we have the balloon of happiness. And I think in trying to find that floaty feeling, maybe I was missing the fact that not every moment of our life is going to have a specific emotion. So see, this is why I like doing these things, because like I said, I also learn with you guys. So I pulled the affirmators. So let's get to these, because I'm hoping that these cards say, look, we got a bonus card. And you know what that means. When you get a bonus card, we get to pull the one right behind it. But before I get to this one, I think I like to pull these because I like to see if they fit with what I'm talking about, and hopefully giving guidance. But this is why too, like I just mentioned, a lot of times I'm just honest on here, because sometimes I find my own answers in here. And while I'm finding okay, so baby sibling says, I think fine is just being. You're not happy nor sad. It's just I'm here and doing life kind of feeling. I agree, which is kind of what I was just saying. But for me, to be honest, because I've always carried this anchor of dread that was so attached to my trauma that I didn't even realize it, guys. When I did the shadow work, that anchor of dread disappeared. I literally unattached it from my little sailing boat of my life. And because I didn't have this underlying feeling, it felt empty and it felt weird. And I guess that's what I've been trying to navigate for the last week, and actually maybe a week and a half, is understanding this feeling and not really having a grasp on it. So thank you, baby sibling, for your validation, because like I said, that was just kind of what I was trying to articulate, which I'm not sure I did that well. But she's right. I'm going to read it again. I think fine is just being. You're not happy nor sad, just I'm here and doing life kind of feeling. And I guess that's exactly what it is. I was expecting, sometimes, I don't know if it's because I'm an only child or what, but sometimes I feel like when I do something big, there should be like confetti and balloons and like just this great big ticker tape parade saying, oh my God, because that's the kind of feeling it feels like when you hurdle these obstacles. Having feelings disappear and not having that underlying feeling, as baby sibling is commiserating with right now, it's an odd feeling. And it can feel empty because you're used to dragging something along with you. And when you're no longer dragging something along with you, it gets a little confusing. And I don't want to say that it's because I was overthinking it. It's because, I am X amount of years old. I've been carrying this weight around for X amount of years. Okay, so basically, I'm 49, and I've been carrying this around for 45 years. Roughly. Because my trauma started very, very young. It started even before my parents gave me the, if anybody's inappropriate with you, you need to tell us talk. So yes, my parents did everything for me. They tried. They are what saved me. And I truly believe that. I saved me too. It took a lot of strength to get through my life. But they gave me that cushion. They gave me that duality that I needed. That really good, my life is so great here, but like 40% of it sucks over here. And so for all those years, I carried that anchor. I dragged it along the ocean bottom. And, okay, I heard a cat and then she went away. So I'm sure you heard her meow. But now I think that's why it just feels weird. It's like kind of retuning my brain to understand that was not a natural feeling. That is not something I should have had to deal with my entire life. And to be honest with you, I would have let it go sooner if I realized it was there, but I didn't. That's what the shadow work did. The shadow work made me go so deep inside that I literally feel I was pulling weeds to the center of the earth. Because that's how deep I had to go. Because a lot of times we repress things. So, if you're one of those people and you're trying to figure it out, don't shame yourself. That's one of the things that I think I was referring to when I was talking about Eileen, is that she, the grace that she gave me was that it kind of took away I stigmatized myself in the sense that I was just ashamed, and I felt a lot of shame. And I felt like, I was a disappointment. I felt like I was behind the 8 ball from everybody else. And I realized my problem is I've got to stop comparing myself to other people. What do I always say, right? Don't compare yourself to other people. Everyone is in their own race. Everyone is on their own journey. And I read something a long time ago that said that people who suffer things that are very traumatic as children, and that could be anything across the board, okay? It's not necessarily what I went through or what somebody else went through. It's just things that are traumatizing that you repress because you don't know how to deal with it, because you don't want to say anything, because you don't want to talk about it. It can actually put you behind your growth other than other people who have had nothing really bad happen in their lives. I mean, we all have things that happen, right? But I'm talking about the super powerful things. I know older sibling has been through things, baby sibling's been through things, I've been through things. And unfortunately, out of the 3 of us, I am the turtle in the back, okay? And I've struggled to understand and find that footing. And I've struggled to find that footing in my healing. And I read something that says this is not abnormal. Sometimes this happens because we're so busy trying to figure out how to heal ourselves that it's hard to focus on other things. I told older sibling, I said, I didn't put much effort into school, but I came out with a B+ average. I graduated with a B+ average. And I told her, I said, my dad used to joke, imagine what your grades would be like if you actually opened a book. And I told her, I said, imagine what my life would have been like if I hadn't suffered that trauma. Who would I be? Where would I be? And it is a what if. But I what if'd that because I reminded myself that this is where I'm at now. Age doesn't matter. And I think that's another thing that's been bothering me is my age. Do I feel old? No, I don't. But when people see you or they think about your age, they judge. And it kind of puts you in that space where, sorry, I'm getting emotional. It kind of puts you in that space where you do struggle. Because you feel like, oh, well, all these people are this age, or all these people are younger than me, and they're so much farther ahead of me. And that's why you need to care. Don't worry about someone else's journey. Are you proud of where you're at? There may be just regular adult stuff, but in my personal life, I feel amazing because I look back and I see how much I've overcome. I see how much the mental health community just on Twitter has helped me see through a lot of my own fog. How my siblings have helped, well, I know I'm an only child, but my soul siblings have, helped me see through a lot of my fog. And I've hoped in my own way I've helped them. And I hope in my own way I've returned that favor to the other people. This is, again, one of the reasons why I do this perspective, because I think it's important sometimes to put who we are out there. If you're comfortable, if you're not, you don't have to. But like I said, I have a gift of gab. So I put a lot of my personal things out there, how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. And like I said, when this was originally the Daily Vibe, that was the whole point. The Daily Vibe was nothing more than, am I here or am I there or am I somewhere in the middle? Because I didn't want people to feel alone. It was a way for me to share something because I felt alone for so long. I felt alone in these feelings. And then this whole community opens up in front of you. You're like, holy shit, there's other people just like me. And you don't feel so backed against the wall any longer. You don't feel like you have to claw your way out to make people understand who you are. Now, in a lot of cases you do, because there's a lot of people who don't understand mental health. You know, older sibling and I were watching a show yesterday, and it's called How It Really Happened, and they were profiling a serial killer, and this one was straight up mental, okay, but nobody wanted to see it, and so they deemed him legally sane. No, if you watch that show from beginning to the end, now granted, we have all the information now. This is like 30 years later. We have all that information now. So we can see it in the long run, in the bigger picture. But back then, 30 years ago, mental health was still highly stigmatized. Very, very stigmatized. It was stigmatized in my own family. And I don't blame anyone for myself not getting help, because it goes back to what, Bestie said this morning. You are in charge of your positivity. You are in charge of your happiness. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but he was just saying you have to do the things for yourself. And this is why I say, if you open up to somebody and they shut you down, don't let that be the end of it. If you feel you need help in some area, seek it yourself. You don't need validation from other people. I have spent the majority of my life seeking validation from other people, needing to be validated by other people, wanting to be validated by other people, and not always getting it. And and that can break you down. That can make you feel horrible. That can make you feel sad. When people don't have time for you, you feel like, oh, well, I'm not worth it. Well, you are worth it. They're just busy. Okay? And sometimes people just get so busy they can't make time. And that's fine. You have to deal with it. That's life. And it sucks, but that's life. It doesn't mean anyone cares about you any less. And, and sometimes people just don't know how to respond to us, right? When you have a dinged up mental health, that's like a whole different conversation. A lot of people don't understand, and then we try to talk to them, and then we get mad when they don't understand. I don't, because I came into this very late in the game, so I understand that there's a lot of people who don't get it. But, again, that's life. And you can, sorry, a tear running down my eye. You can let it break you, or you can realize that you're the one that pushes you forward. You are the conductor, the engineer, you are the engine of that choo-choo train that is leading you down the tracks of life, right? You're the one that makes it go slower, makes it go faster, that takes the curves, at that right speed so you don't fall off the tracks. And sometimes we might derail. That's not abnormal when you have a dinged up mental health, but it's going to happen. But as long as you figure out how to get yourself back on that track, that's what's most important. We have to stop shaming ourselves. We have to stop stigmatizing ourselves. And we have to get into our power, to get into that place where we know we have that power. Because it comes from in here. It comes from inside of us. We fill that cup that we pour from or serve from. We are the ones who fill it up with that joy. And if you are solely looking for happiness in other people's happiness, or you are solely looking for happiness, to come from somebody else, then you need to take a good look at your cup, because it is probably not full. It may be pretty empty. And the way I had explained that before was this. When you serve from a full cup, you have that elation, you have that joy, you have that excitement, right? But then all of a sudden, that feeling's gone, because that moment's gone. And if you're feeling sad or alone or icky on the inside, it is probably an empty cup, because you are looking to other people's happiness to be your own joy. But when you serve and pour from a full cup, you have that elation, you share that joy, you share that bliss with other people. And then when it's gone, you're still content. You have that contentment. You have that, like baby sibling says, that I'm just here and doing life kind of feeling. You're like, okay, on to the next. But you're not sad. You're not empty. You're not blue. So I can't say it enough. And I know I'm going to repeat that a million times over the next however many perspectives happen down the road. But you have to serve and pour from a full cup. Okay, you have to find a way to put that happiness inside of you. You have to find a way to bring that joy from yourself. Want to go to a park and nobody wants to go with you, or you can't find anyone to go with you, go by yourself. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the beach by myself. Just to sit. Sometimes it's actually more enjoyable because you can just sit there, enjoy the sun. I mean, I have an umbrella. Enjoy the sound of the waves. It's very therapeutic. It's a pain in the ass when you want to go in the water and have no one to watch your stuff. But, there are ways around that too, right? Right. So the key is, even if you can't find someone to do something with you, do it anyway. Challenge yourself. If you've never gone out to a restaurant to eat by yourself, do it. Even if it's just a Denny's or an IHOP, right? Just do it. Bring a book, bring a journal, people watch. Challenge yourself to stay off your phone. See if you can manage that. Because, if you bring your phone to one of these places, you might as well just be eating at home. But, challenge yourself, right? If you're with people, put your fucking phone down. I am bad at that. I am learning, actually, very much so, to just keep it in my purse. Because I'm with other people. And I want to give them my full attention. And sometimes, when you're with the same people over and over again, you might pull out your phone and start texting. But if that happens, and that's okay. Okay, I don't want to shame anybody, which I just kind of did, so I apologize for that. If that does happen, don't stay on it forever. Okay? Put it down when you're done. And enjoy the people that you are around. So, let's get to these cards because we're getting a little into time here. Nature. Oh, nature is always telling me to go visit it, so that may have to be a thing today. It's time to unleash your inner hippie and step outside of that man-made box. Take a walk in the woods, smell those flowers, hug some trees. You might think you're being ironic, like, look at me, I'm being all tree huggery and stuff. I love these cards. But you'll find that even those trees will hug you back. Trees come from a time before irony, and their earnestness is impervious to our jaded humor. If that doesn't make you want to hug them even more, well, I guess you're a robot. I don't live near a forest. I kind of wish I did. But, I do live near trees. Just be careful where you're hugging it, though. You don't want ants all over you and bugs. But for the most part, have you ever really leaned up against a tree? It's very supportive. And I don't mean that in the sense that because it's a tough tree and you're leaning against it. It is very supportive. There is an energy to it. There's an earth energy to it. It is so deeply rooted in the ground. This is going to sound terrible, but we have a tree out on the street in front of my complex. And, probably about 8 years ago, just under 8 years ago, I wasn't home when it happened. Older sibling was, and she said that it was so bad, it felt like it shook the house. We had a terrible car crash. Okay, and I mean terrible, straight across the board terrible. And older sibling and I were talking about it the other day because we were talking about the tree. This car hit this tree, and that tree annihilated that car. Okay, we were talking like maybe if he would have hit something else or maybe hit one of the concrete walls that are over there, there might have been a better chance. But this tree did not move. And really only probably about 3 inches of bark was probably taken off, and that's where the front of the car hit, probably where the license plate was. And it was horrific. When I got home, when Sissy and I Sissy was still alive at the time, got home, we looked at the car because it was right across from where I turned in, and it had bottomed out in the back. I mean, it had bottomed out in the back. Everything in the trunk fell out. And I don't mean flew out the trunk. I mean, fell out the bottom. Now, that's probably not the best story to use to talk about how strong trees are. But it's also probably the most accurate way to show how strong trees are. They're so connected to the earth. And sometimes that's what we need to be. That's why it's saying, get out into nature. You know, we joke about hugging trees. Oh, they're a tree hugger. But trees are such just nature itself is so amazing. Have you ever taken a walk through just a large, field of trees? When I was in England and I went out to the countryside, there were trees everywhere. And I have to tell you, just walking down some of these paths, you can just feel that beautiful energy. And I know everyone's sitting there going, oh my God, yeah, she's a hippie. No, you know what? If anything else, I'm a flower child. But what I'm saying here is that there is an energy that the earth exudes. You know, when the world first shut down a couple years ago, about a month into it, the canals in Venice were so clear. There were dolphins, flowing through there. The atmosphere was so clear. LA was actually in the top 5 of clear air because nobody here was driving. We made it into the top 5 of clear air. I'm pretty sure we're back in the bottom 20 now, but we were, in fact, I think at one point we were number 1. I say we because I'm practically in LA, but we were number 1 for this whole Southern California area because nature was getting a chance to breathe. And one day I was lucky enough that it was cool enough outside that, I kid you not, I could see this because there was a gentle mist outside. I say gentle because it wasn't super strong. I could see the oxygen coming off of the tree. Or basically I could see the tree breathing, and I still have video of it. It is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Like nature was, having that chance to just take a deep breath from us ruining her all the time. And that's not new. I had a Planet Awareness Club when I was in high school that I started, and people just don't take it seriously how important these things are. But it shows that a tree is more than just something that gives you shade. It is alive. The flowers that you smell are alive. The grass that you walk through, it's alive, and it's filled with this energy that just wants to connect with you. The ocean, even the sand, right? Because a lot of the sand that is sitting there on that beach was once underwater. So you're connecting with Earth. You're connecting with that. Have you ever gone to the beach where you just kind of stand and a wave hits your toes and then all of a sudden you feel yourself sinking in the sand, but you just have that peace within you because it does feel that good. It does feel that cleansing. And that you can feel that connection, like the earth is just hugging you, even if it's just at your ankles. And a lot of people may scoff and laugh at that, but I'm telling you, you should try it. If you don't want to be seen hugging a tree, go to the beach. If you don't live near land, go to a lake. Find a body of water. Go into a swimming pool. Okay, water comes from somewhere. Water is water. Okay, swimming pool water doesn't just magically appear. It is water that came from somewhere. And that can be just as good as if you're in the shower, if you're taking a bath. It's all these different things. See, I say water a lot because I have a very deep connection with water. I am a water baby. But I don't really allow myself to be a water baby since I live near it. But I will say this, even when older sibling and I were in Colorado a couple years ago, we usually go every September, but it was 2 trips ago. And I had always wanted to dip my toes in this one big lake they have near Georgetown. And it's between, basically it's on our drive from Denver to Breckenridge. But I told her, I said, we have to stop. And it was windy and it was cool outside. Okay, I mean, we're heading into fall, right, in the Rocky Mountains, and it was fucking cold. But I tell you, I went all the way up to my knees because it felt amazing. Yeah, it was super duper cold, but there was just this energy from this lake, from this rainwater, from that snow that had fallen down into this lake, and just being surrounded by the mountains, you know, the rocks under my feet, the sandy dirt under my feet in that water. There was just something beautiful about it, something very therapeutic and calming and peaceful. Okay, so let's get to, since we pulled a bonus card, let's get to our second card. Guess what it is? Self-love. Dun, 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 dun. I love it when cards fit what I want to talk about. I'm telling you, I mean, as you can see from the beginning of this, because it was a little bit bouncy at the beginning, I had nothing planned for today. We were just going to do the affirmator cards, and then life happened this morning before 8 o'clock. So, self-love. I openly embrace a feeling of self-love, the PG kind. You can go R-rated if you like. That's your choice. I love myself because I understand myself. I love myself as the most committed partner I will ever have. I show myself love any way that I can, and when I screw up, I remember to be sweet and gentle with myself. If not, I'm going to make myself sleep on the couch. Got that, self? I don't know how that works, guys, but okay. But no, this is the most important line in this entire card. I love myself as the most committed partner I will ever have. A relationship should not define you. It should complete you. Okay? Or maybe not even complete you. It should just bring straight up serious joy to your life. You define you. You complete you. Relationships bring in something. It's like having okay, this is going to be the worst metaphor ever. But I love my KitchenAid mixer. All right? But you have your bowl, you have your regular attachments. But then they're like, oh, hey, let's make ice cream. Wait, they make an attachment for that? Oh, yes, they do. And that's the bonus, right? I mean, yeah, you have to go out and get it, you know, or maybe it's given to you. I mean, you know, you can fit that into your relationship metaphors any way you want to. But it's like having that extra attachment that brings you so much joy, that you know is there for you when you need it, when you want it, when you need that comfort. And I say comfort because ice cream is comfort food. But the most important relationship you will have in your life, and the most committed partner you will ever have in your life, is you. Because you decide, do I want that attachment? You decide, do I want it to bring me joy? You decide, does it bring me joy? You know, you make those choices for yourself. You are the one that allows these beautiful things to come into your life. And yeah, sometimes it may feel like it takes forever for the beautiful things to come into your life, but that's life. That's life. And I'm learning that as I go, that sometimes life just doesn't work out the way we think it's going to, or the way we hope it's going to. And sometimes you just got to ride the tide and wait for the good things to happen. But in the meantime, while you're riding the tide, don't miss the scenery on your journey. It's not about the destination. The destination is when you die, guys. I mean, you can be on a million journeys, but the one journey is going to lead into the next one. Your final destination is literally your final destination. I can't stop thinking about the movies now. Ugh. But that went dark fast. But that's just it. Don't sit there and, you know, focus so much on the journey that you miss the scenery. And those are the fun things in life. Those are the people that come in your life. Those are the activities that you choose to do. You know, the places you choose to go. You know, the things you choose to do for yourself. When you are in, even if it's just a relationship, not just a relationship, but if you are in something that is so special, it's because you have drawn that to you. You have drawn something magical to you. You know, we always hear when people talk about the law of attraction, right? That the energy you put out there is the energy you're going to get back. And if you put something out there negative, you're probably going to get back negative. And maybe you're trying to put something out there that's positive, but you keep getting negative. That's when you have to kind of stop and think, what am I feeling inside? Because it's not what comes out of your mouth or what comes out of your head. It's what comes out of your heart and your soul. And what comes out of your heart and soul is what the world reads, what the universe reads, what your source reads. If you are a person who has a higher power, talk to them. Sometimes you might think, why is it when I only have this certain feeling, you finally hear me? It's because you're feeling it. You're sending out that vibration. You're not just giving lip service. You are feeling what you are saying. And that really is a big, big part of self-love. Self-love is huge when it comes to that. Because you are going to be the one person that you spend every day with for the rest of your life. From beginning to end, or as sibling likes to say, from womb to tomb. You are the one who is with you constantly. So be a better partner to yourself. If you're struggling like me, I have to remind myself, I need to be a better partner to myself. I need to be better to myself. I need to stop waiting for everybody else to go do things with me and just go do it myself. Sometimes, yeah, it sucks if you do it alone. I mean, it's not always fun to go do things by yourself. But you know what? Just do it anyways. You might realize how much fun you will have. But it's better than not having any kind of fun at all, right? It's better than just sitting home and saying, well, I guess I could have done this, but, I didn't. Go have your adventure anyways and make the best of it. Because you're not always going to be alone. Okay? The tides will turn. The more you put out the vibration of wanting to share things with people, the more you're probably going to draw those people into you. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I know Hodgepodge Monday started out a bit blue, and I didn't mean for it to, but I know these feelings I have are not just mine. I see them when I see people post, and I think that's why I wanted to share it. But unfortunately, it comes down to where I have to share my own experiences because I'm not living other people's experiences. And so I don't want people to think I just sit here and talk about myself all this time. I'm trying to be relatable. I'm trying to share experiences so others don't feel alone in their own experiences. And so that's sometimes why I have to go a little deeper into how I'm feeling so that I can put that out there. I can help people understand, that they're not alone. I share my story so other people can heal theirs because I'm grateful that I've been fortunate enough to get to a point where I have been able to heal mine. I have been able to heal all these things in my life that I forgot were there, didn't realize still needed to be healed. Here's the funny part about healing. If it keeps coming up, that means it still needs to be healed. But if it comes up and there's no emotion attached to it, that probably means you're done and need to let it go. That's my own experience. I don't know about everybody else, but that's been my own experience. I kept thinking, oh my God, I thought I healed this. But then when I went back through it again, I found it was less painful than each time before. So sometimes your body, or, it's like it's like a saying for people who do believe in God. God is only going to give you as much as you can handle. Right? So that's how you have to roll. And remember, life is only going to give you what you can handle. It's not going to try to do it. It's not going to try to overwhelm you or burst your bubble or send you packing. That's not the intention. Sometimes we do get more overwhelmed than we realize, and sometimes we do feel like we have more than we can handle. But if you can push yourself to that next sunrise, if you can make it to that next sunrise, you're going to see that you survived it. You made it. Okay? So again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please take care of yourselves. Show yourself some grace and self-love. Hug a tree. Go into water. Do something in nature. Even if you just go outside and look, soak in the sun. Don't look at the sun. Do not look at the sun. But go outside, soak in, if there's sunlight, great. If there's snow, rain, whatever, be out in nature for a moment. Allow yourself to connect to the earth. Take your shoes off, walk through the grass. Even if it's wet, who cares? Your feet will dry. Sometimes it's actually nicer because you really feel like you're connecting, right? But get out there, get out into the world, okay? Tomorrow's perspective will be a little bit late. I will probably be doing it on location from somewhere. I have no idea where yet, but I will be on the move. Older sibling has some big stuff happening tomorrow, and I have offered to drive her, and I'm very, very excited. I'm sharing in her joy on this, but her appointment is at 9, which means I'll be on the road probably around 8:30. So again, the perspective will be a little late. It will be on tomorrow, but I'm just not sure at what time. Okay, so probably sometime between 8:45 and 9:15. It'll probably be more about 8:45 and 9 o'clock. All right, so it won't be too much later, but it will be a little later. So again, have a great, great day. Take care of yourselves, please. If you have to journal. There's no shame in journaling. There's no shame in feeling what you're feeling. Just do your best to move past the negativity and into the positivity, and then keep practicing that until it comes naturally to you. Okay. I will see everybody back here tomorrow between 8:45, 9 a.m. Take care of yourselves. Facebook Live, it is public. Anybody can watch. And then afterwards, I will upload it to YouTube. Tomorrow, not sure what time that will be happening, if I can't find a Wi-Fi spot. But if I can, then yay. Otherwise, it'll be up tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow.